Anyone at home?
Only me.
Aha.
Any news?
News?
From Cambridge?
Ah, from Cambridge. They did send me this.
Aren't you a pig? Major scholarship, you're a pig. They did send me this, you pig. So the secret's out. Adam Morris is a genius.
Oh, it's now official. That's all. It's no news to me.
3 years.
You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to drive down to the school in a fleet of limousines. I've officially left, incidentally, as of the aforesaid telegraphic communication. And I'd like to wrap the good news round a large brick and personally sling it through the headmaster's window.
He got you your scholarship, didn't he? That's your grouse.
What's my grouse? What's my pheasant? What's my hard-boiled egg? He only did his damnedest to stop me getting anything at all.
Well, why would he want to do that?
It all started one winter Sunday in the school chapel.
When I think of him as a young man, I like to imagine Christ, or Jesus as he was then, working simply at his trade as a carpenter in his native Nazareth. A man skilled with his hands. And at the end of the week, he would take the work that he'd finished, be it never so humble, down to the village shop and offer to sell it to the local shopkeeper. And the shopkeeper, being a Jew, would give him as little for it as he possibly could.
You wrote this, Morris?
Yes, sir.
To a guest of the school? Someone whom I personally had invited to come and preach. You call him, amongst other choice things, thank you. A bigot and a,
Simpleton, sir.
yes, and a psychotic, which also happens to be misspelt.
Oh, is it really? I'm terribly sorry about that, sir.
Do you honestly imagine that this sort of abusive trash is going to further your cause in the world?
My cause, sir?
Well, it's hardly likely to recruit Basil Staunton to your point of view.
No, sir. I wonder, sir, if you would care to give me some advice as to what might.
Basil Staunton, you may care to know, served for 3 years in the trenches in the First War. He was also decorated for gallantry. You're your own worst enemy, you know, Morris.
History doesn't suggest that, sir. May I ask you, sir, did you personally approve of the Provost's sermon?
You've elected to live in a Christian society, Morris.
Yes, sir, of course. Stupid of me.
I want you to write to Mr. Staunton and apologize.
Apologize?
I can tell you one thing, and that is that Mr. Staunton does assure me that he would not have said what, in fact, he did say, had he known there were any Jews in the chapel.
That's very Christian of him, sir.
And did you write?
I wrote.
Adam, you're bleeding on me. You're bleeding on me.
Oh. Ugh.
It's oddly satisfying, isn't it? French kissing.
I could think of something that'd be a lot more satisfying still.
Well, you're the one that wants to go to Cambridge.
What's Cambridge got to do with
It'll
it?
never come out. I shall be 22 by the time you've finished. Look at it.
Take it off. Oh, I wish you would. Take it off. Well, why don't you?
Well, it's different for men.
I read a story the other day about two people. He was supposed to go off and join the army, actually, in the American Civil War. And this was supposed to be. He was engaged to this girl. And the night before he was due to go into the army, they rowed out to an island. And do you know what they did?
Oh, I can guess.
On the contrary, they just took their clothes off. And that was it. And they just looked at each other, and it was a sort of marriage. And then he went off to the war.
Well, you won't want me when you come back.
I love you.
Then I bet it was.
Ollie, Ollie! Johnson! Bloody hell! I thought you'd been sent down.
No such luck.
Hey! Come on, Bill! Right, up!
Oh, sorry.
Oh, do come in.
Thank you.
You must be Morris A.B.
That's right.
I'm afraid we arrived first.
So it seems. You must be Davidson. D. St. J.
That's me.
Ah.
How do you do it?
How do you do it?
We were just speculating on how you and Donald came to be sharing.
Ah. Are you a scholar? Then I can't think.
You know, my dear, I rather think we should think about moving. These two young men have many things they must do.
Oh, and let me know if you need anything, dear. I'll get Nanny Hedges to pack it up for you.
Glad to have met you, Mr. Morris.
And you, sir?
You're going to walk us to the gate, Donald?
Yes.
You weren't at the Jesuit school in Sussex, were you?
Hardly.
Goodbye, Mr. Morris.
Goodbye, Mrs. Davidson.
You mustn't mind my mother. It's 300 years of being deferred to.
Oh, she's 300 years old, is she?
350, actually. But the first 50 were lived in relative obscurity. Incidentally, she's Lady Frances, not Mrs.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I don't know how I was expected to know.
Oh, you were expected not to know.
So your father is Lord Davidson?
No, he's just...
Oh, sorry.
He's just plain Mister. My mamma is the daughter of an earl. Not a very special earl, actually, but an earl. One of her ancestors rendered some particularly personal services to James I. Do you have vices at all?
Vices?
Smoke, drink, things like that.
Women?
If you like. Only, I suppose it's only polite to warn you.
What?
I tend to pray.
Seriously?
Flippant prayers aren't particularly encouraged. You're not a Christian.
No. But you go ahead.
Oh, I shall. I shall. Do you row?
No. No, my school was strictly non-aquatic.
I was thinking of rowing.
Sorry.
Sorry. You liked it there, I gather?
Liked it. I loathed it. What was your place like?
Oh, reasonable. You don't mind if I stick this up?
Stick it up by all means. You really believe all this, do you?
Well, there are quite a few of us, actually.
Not as few as there are of us.
Oh, hi, Anna Morris, I say.
Hello, Ken.
What are you doing here, ex-schoolfellow of mine?
Avoiding ex-schoolfellows of mine, mostly. What are you?
Avoiding them? Why are you avoiding them?
Because they all talk like a blue bottle all the time.
Don't you like that?
Not much. What are you doing here, anyway?
I'm reading geology, laddie. What are you doing?
Classics.
Yes, of course you would be, wouldn't you?
What's geology like?
It's never going to replace sex, laddie, I tell you that.
You don't still happen to play poker by any chance, do you?
Poker! You have touched me on a soft spot, you filthy swine. I'm potty for it.
Because if you feel like it, there's a game going tonight in my rooms.
I feel like it. I feel like it.
I trust the stakes are not too high. I hate a high stake.
Sixpenny raises. I don't suppose that'll break you.
it does, I can always touch you for a loan, can't I?
Can you?
I shall be there, my Capitan. I shall not fail thy feast.
Don't bother to wear the old school tie.
How will we recognize each other?
Now, my first woman was a regimental sergeant major's wife. Yeah, I had her in the back of a 600-weight truck on the way home from a mess-up.
Christ. The RSM's wife?
Yeah, I'm in.
A definitive instance of duty beyond the call of courage.
No, it was a deep, significant, and highly spiritual experience. I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
If I know anything about sergeant majors' wives, you couldn't have missed it for the world.
Don, are you in?
The lucky winner'd like 2 cards, please.
I'm in.
And how about you, eh? And the 2-back beast, Lieutenant Hobsar. Strictly in the interest of comparative studies, he added quickly.
3 cards, please. The first woman I ever had was a black lady, as a matter of fact.
No.
A place called Entebbe, East Africa.
And the Quim African. Do you recommend it? He inquired delicately.
It's the best thing I ever had that let me change out of half a crown.
Oh, my God. The winner, that's 2. And how about you, eh? Oh, scholar of the ancient world, was your iota ever subscript?
Oh, I'm afraid I never had your advantages. Her Majesty has yet to put one of her 600-weight trucks at my disposal.
You want to
or
get
one of our Sergeant Major's wives.
You want to get a bit of service in, son, he asserted sanctimoniously.
Up 6.
What?
Oh, I'm out.
Up 6. And up another 6. Brave Donald, he done did.
I'm up. What's he got in his hand? What's he got in his hand? What's he doing?
I don't know what to do.
He doesn't know what to do. What's he doing?
Well, don't go and commit suicide for the sake of 1 and 4, please.
What?
Plays havoc with the... Up another 6.
Another 6.
1, 2, 3. Plays havoc with the pansies. Yeah.
Up another 6. I'll see it.
You have to go to the window. What's he got?
3 kings.
From Orient beats a pair. But not a straight, my dear Alcarian friend, which is what I've got. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 in demonstrated gloatingly.
Luck. Filthy luck. The whole damned evening, and it's the 3rd time running. Well, what have I lost so far?
1 and 8.
Announced the impassive mathematician.
Oh, I was unlucky.
God, you'd be unlucky at chess.
I am unlucky at chess. I'm serious.
Of course you're serious. It wouldn't be so funny if you weren't. Tell me, are you allowed to play poker in heaven? Or do you just sit around counting your lucky stars?
I only know about hell.
Ah.
Do you know the trouble with hell? The noise, my dear, and the people.
Oh, I like that. I've often wondered, is there a separate part of hell for the heathen of various persuasions, or am I likely to find myself sharing rooms with Goering, as well as Jean-Paul Sartre, who turns out, of course, to be lesbian?
My uncle once went shooting with Goering. He liked him, rather.
Then I suppose they washed their hands in soap made from their victims and went in for tea. I think I'd rather commit the sin against the Holy Ghost, whatever kind of spook that is, than boast of having an uncle who liked Goering.
Excuse me.
You go it a bit, don't you?
Yes, yes, I go it a bit. What do you do?
You've got a rough tongue, mate. You want to watch it. Someone might say something to you.
He warned self-importantly. Not in my rooms, they won't.
So, this is the city of dreaming spires.
Theoretically, that's Oxford. This is the city of perspiring dreams. Ah, do you like curry at all? Because the Cambridge diet is basically curry. Or curry. Well, unless you like curry. You could have curry.
I quite like some curry.
Ah, 2 set lunches, thank you.
The theatre, to my mind, should be a place where brilliant things are said and brilliant things are done. I mean, I refuse to abandon myself to commiserating with the misfortunes of peasants.
But how thoughtful of him to say it all at dictation speed.
As far as I'm concerned, every single word.
Did you get my letter? You didn't write much.
I did write.
Yes. I've missed you. But you haven't missed me.
Not a bit.
I thought the gang is all here and shrieking its living head off as usual, much to the embarrassment of ordinary decent folk. I really must apologize to my friend.
Friend? I've never seen this fellow before in my life.
It's all right.
The lady, who is as witty as she is beautiful, says that it's all right. Huh, never seen me before, he said. The jewels that I lavished on this boy.
Yeah.
The last of the Archduchess's emeralds, satin slippers, crown, caviar, not to mention the Emperor's
Actors.
reproach, and now rejection. Canst wonder that I weep. Master can room out this instant to make room.
There's no room, Dennis. Why is over there?
What would your dear mother say? She never turned anyone away. A wonderful woman, and the measure of her ancient profession. I do say about those spots, dear Valerie. Of course, clean living's the only real cure, unfortunately. I've tried everything else. Oh, she fancies me.
Which one?
Ooh, outrageous. The shepherdess, of course, bless her pretty little Dresden tail and her alabaster braid.
Have you done any acting?
But I can't stand those sort of people.
You'd be very good. You used to do a marvellous blue bottle.
Everybody does a marvellous blue bottle. Anyway, they wouldn't want me.
Oh, you always think people won't want you. I expect they'd have you like a shot.
Would you?
Well, you know you'd enjoy it.
What?
Acting, once you got in.
The problem is getting in, isn't it?
Well, you always can if you really want to.
Promise.
Well, of course you can. Anyway, you ought to act. You ought to meet people.
Please, don't worry. I'm very happy as I am.
So they've both chosen an impossible love.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, the play is anti-romantic, basically. Well, that's how it seems to me, anyway.
Well, come on, John Cadman, you're the producer. Enlighten the poor lady.
Yes, well, there's certainly an element of doom. Almost willful self-destruction. Yes, I agree with you.
And Romeo, what thinkest thou, Romeo?
I find it hard enough to try and say my lines in the right order.
Why didn't write down a very professional
But Mike, don't you think I'm right, though? Look, Romeo has to die. Otherwise, all that can happen is things go off the boil.
It's rather a curious expression.
No. You've got this funny thing with Romeo, the name, I mean, that we talk of people being Romeos. That is, going from one woman to another. When Romeo himself dies, rather than live without Juliet. Well, I think it's fascinating and suggestive, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm sure it'll get you your first dinner when the time comes.
Oh, well, I'm not worried about that.
And if it alters the angle at which you lean over the railing in the balcony scene, I'll be very surprised.
Yes, well, look, I think we should return to the Champ de Bataille. I told them 45, so shall we?
Yes, because it's 50 already.
But you can't see them happily married.
We'll discuss it later. Let's suppose you get to stay with John.
Dennis, you are mad.
So my uncle, the general, used to say when I put grape nuts in his caviar.
Well, they
Going in the right direction.
You can't expect them to take in an idea like that. All John Cadman cares about is letting the verse do the work. I think you're bang right about the psychological aspect.
Oh, I'm sure I am.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, but for the moment I should just...
I talk too much.
Well, not too much. Too well.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She knows you.
I had a short story in Varsity last week.
Did you? Jolly good for you.
Yes.
Who the hell was that?
Haven't the faintest.
You sure you're not cold?
It's very lovely here. No wonder you're so happy. I only wish I'd worked harder.
But why don't you stay? Stay till Monday.
I hate hotels.
Who said anything about hotels? No one will ever know.
And what would your roommate say?
A few Hail Marys, I expect. He wouldn't mind disappearing for a bit. He's a Catholic, not a Puritan.
I promised I'd go home.
Did you know the Spanish anarchists once passed a resolution saying, no, listen, once passed a resolution saying that any woman who excited desire in a man had a moral obligation to satisfy
And that
it.
would just suit you, wouldn't it?
Well,
a law making it illegal to deny Adam Morris what he wants. And what about women?
women can have anyone they want now.
Can they? Have you seen Gerald Lewis at all?
What?
Have you seen Gerald Lewis at all? Because he's at Cambridge.
So are a lot of people I don't see.
Did you go to the Jewish Society? He's the onset.
I don't want anything to do with religion, kosher or otherwise. These are probably the best in the world. It's all lies, she, all of it.
That's what you say.
Oh, it's not a question of what I say. It's a fact. None of the propositions of religion can be proved. Not the way the propositions of natural science can be proved. I'm sure you can see that.
Not really.
There is a gas fire in this room. True or false?
True?
Of course it's true. And how do you know it's true? By empirical observation.
I just looked.
Yes. Now, God is in this room. True or false? Now, take a good look now. You can't be too careful. Any signs?
You don't look for God that way.
Precisely. And why? Because he is nonsensical. He's literally nonsense.
I don't agree.
But you have to agree. I'm telling you something. It's fact. See, all these ideas that we live by and die by and kill by, they're all based on nothing. They have no foundation in anything that we can see or touch or observe in any way at all.
A lot of people don't think the same way you do.
And take not making love until you're married. Where'd it come from, an idea like that? It's nonsense. If two people love each other, then that ought to be it.
If two people do.
I love you.
You're too clever for me.
Nothing has to happen.
Happen?
You know. We'll stay here tonight. She'd do. Nothing will happen.
You don't really want me.
I want you more than anything in the world, even more than the elimination of metaphysics. There.
You'd never forgive me, I know you.
Forgive you if what?
If we got married now.
You talk as if marriage is the only alternative. Don't you ever listen?
I have to go home.
According to what logic do you have to?
Oh, because I have to.
It's a mere tautology.
Because I want to.
That's not logic. That's autobiography.
All you care about is words.
Words are loaded pistols. We use them at our peril.
Are you walking me to the station?
Well, I can't ride you, can I?
Clever.
Sunday lunch.
How was your father, which art?
Paternoster, you mean?
That's the Johnny. Good form.
Thank you.
You're now pure in thought and word and deed, eh?
Well, that's the general idea.
Until the next time.
Presumably.
I must say, it's a very comfortable doctrine you people have.
That's probably why it's caught on, don't you think?
I envy you.
There's no subscription?
Your credulity.
Yes, I suppose it is somewhat enviable.
I don't really envy you, actually. I more pity you, really. By the way, compliments of the heathen. Mustn't shortchange the Trinity, must we? We have an excellent accountant, I'm told. The recording angel never misses.
There's no record of it.
Very good. God, I hate the Sunday papers. All right, Russia's got the bloody H-bomb. Why no Arsenal report? No sense of proportion. Feel like a game?
When I've finished.
Best of 5, eh?
If you like.
Didn't you ever have any doubts about your religion, I mean?
Why should I have?
Well, it's just that you could be anything you wanted, and you choose to be a slave. For serve, okay?
My religion suits me very well, and it doesn't interfere with anyone else.
Have you never heard of the Inquisition, by any chance? That was out.
No, it wasn't! Well, the Spanish always were a bit extreme. It's probably the climate.
Well, that was. 1-0. Ready?
Sorry, I wasn't ready.
You nodded.
I thought I was, but I obviously wasn't.
2-0. Ready?
Come on, that's not fair.
It may not be fair, but it's the game. Either play or don't. What never ceases to amaze me is that you can go on believing in something which quite simply isn't true.
Good heavens, when did you hear this?
It's common knowledge.
Well, I hate common knowledge.
Plus. Your point. 1-2. Yours.
I'm sorry, I wasn't ready.
You're serving.
That's what I mean.
Rubbish. Now, if this was Graham Greene, you could pray for a miracle, and then when it was granted, you could give up the game. You'd probably be best advised.
My mother thinks Graham Greene's a heretic.
Simon Jansenist, you've seen them all.
She prefers Georgette Heyer.
Better class of sinner.
Exactly.
Are you trying? 6-1.
I'm trying, I'm just not succeeding.
Well, perhaps Holy Communion disagreed with you. Perhaps you ate something indigestible. In future, I should insist on white meat or nothing. You! Ow! Don't sorry, stop, because I should hate to hurt you. I'm sorry if I offended you.
Rushed!
Oh! Enough.
The old goes on.
Oh, just a philosophical discussion, really.
Only I was going for a beer.
A better plan than going for each other, eh, Mr. Davidson?
You bloody made my nose bleed, you!
Say nothing irrevocable. Friends you make at university will last you all your life, if you're very unlucky.
Wait.
Look what you bloody did.
It was mine in the first place.
But look what you bloody did.
Look what you bloody did if it comes to that!
Well, I have a strong objection to my arms torn out of the roots. Sorry about it.
A plaque on both your houses, say I.
And not for the first time.
Why did I come up here in the first place?
Because you didn't want to buy the second round yourself.
Adam's in a filthy mood today.
Oh, I didn't notice anything different.
Sorry about that, Donald.
I think this ball might conceivably be savage.
Look, they're going to shut in a minute.
Sorry.
Okay. When I have a black belt, I kill. Until then, apology accepted.
He's funny, you know, Adam. He always hurts people and then he apologises.
I've never hurt you, Bill, have I?
No?
And shut up and mind your own damn business. Sorry. I think you two had better go on to the mill. I'll stay here and sort of wrestle with the pre-Socratic.
Don't you want to come?
Oh, no, you two go on.
Come on.
For when you've finished with Anaxagoras.
Thanks. Mr. and Mrs. Norman Wise request the pleasure of your company on February 28th, 1954, to celebrate the engagement of their daughter, Sheila, to Mr. Michael Sachs, RSVP. Oi! Don!
Did you know that 60% of American males have their first sexual experience with another male?
You better go and see what Father Carson has to say about it.
And 37% have a homosexual experience of a genital order at some point in their adult lives.
Good heavens!
Only 1.7% of males below the age of 30 fail to have an outlet at least once a week.
An outlet?
That's the term he uses.
You might leave that when you go to Mass. Or are you taking it with you? In which case I'll walk along with you and take it over as you hit consecrated ground.
I'm tired.
I've been reading all night.
I think I'll give it a miss.
Give Mass a miss? Shame on you. No outlets to confess.
You realise this includes priests? It must.
I realise. But do you realise? Statistics are, I understand, no respecters of the cloth.
I mean, priests. It makes you think.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
I'm thinking of joining you.
What?
And reading philosophy next year.
Ah. Oh, well. At least it doesn't entail circumcision. You can always change your mind and run back to Rome.
Everyone's allowed a sabbatical, after all.
Sunday. Christ.
Where's Adam?
Adam, Derek will be home next week and we'll all be together again.
Yes. Is he coming?
Adam!
I'm here.
Didn't you hear your mother?
I'm here.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותו ושמרו העולם לעשיהם אמן.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם פרי פרי הגופן אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המצא לחם מן הארץ אמן.
Amen.
Amen. Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos. Okay.
Guess who's coming in after supper?
Certainly not.
Yep.
Who?
The Millers.
Ah.
Their daughter's just got into Oxford.
Really?
I said she should come. It's not easy for a girl, is it? She might come too.
She's a classic too.
Ah. Oh, I might have to go out a bit later.
Friday night.
Dada,
It's the first of the holidays.
Vacation.
Where were you thinking of going?
Oh, I said I might meet somebody.
Anyone we know?
No.
Who exactly?
Somebody I met at Cambridge, as a matter of fact,
Oh, a fellow student.
if you like.
I thought we didn't go out Friday night.
We?
Your mother likes you at home.
And here I am. No, I said I might go out a bit later, that's all. I didn't know the Millers were coming. It seems they go out Friday nights.
They live 2 doors away.
Dad, we've been through all this. I don't want to make a big thing out of it.
It is a big thing.
I'm into supper, aren't I?
There's a principle involved.
It's your principle, it's not mine. Do we really have to pretend?
Pretend what?
That God's in his heaven and all's well with the world. And he isn't. It isn't.
That's your opinion.
It's my opinion. And I am, as they say, entitled to it.
You're turning your back on 5,000 years.
But I sometimes think that's the only thing to do with 5,000 years. 5,000 years of superstition, humbug, and mumbo-jumbo.
That's what you think of your people.
Oh, let's not quarrel. It's his first weekend home.
That's what you think of your people.
Look, I said that I might go out for just a couple of hours or so. That's what I think of my people.
And what am I to tell the Millers?
Tell them we had a philosophical disagreement.
I think you'll be surprised at Tessa. She's become a very interesting young woman. And I know she'd love to talk to you.
That's the kind of build-up that puts paid to most conversations.
Couldn't you go out tomorrow night?
This is the last opportunity before Christmas, you know.
Well, you better go then.
I'm going.
I'd be glad if you could arrange to be in next Friday night. Your brother will be home from school.
You don't want me leading him astray.
It would be civil of you not to.
Oh, look, Dad.
Please.
I might see them when I get back. I mean, I shan't be late necessarily.
See whom?
The Millers, of course.
I shouldn't worry about the Millers. Excuse me.
Oh, try not to quarrel these holidays.
Vacation.
Will you?
Believe it or not, I was trying not to.
Is it serious?
What?
Well, this girl.
Girl? No, of course not.
Well...
There are going to be other people there. It's just a party, that's all. And I said I might go along.
Is she...
It's not serious. Is she what?
Jewish.
I haven't asked her.
Can't you tell?
Do you mean that she's got a big nose and a moustache? No. No, she
Adam,
hasn't.
Adam, your father...
Don't worry, Mother. If she turns out not to be Jewish, I'll make sure she goes and cuts her throat. I told you, don't worry. It is not serious, as you put it. It's just a little party I'm going to. God. God. God.
Wait a minute.
I've waited a week.
Why, I like the gas.
I love you. Did you miss me? But did you miss me?
Christine
Good Christmas.
Stitching out today at the post office, if you call that good.
How fared the dark centre? The pillar of blood, he inquired with Laurentian directness.
2 knee tremblers and the bank manager's wife.
Yeah. A satisfactory way of taking care of your overdraft as you likely to find. Stiff terms, but what can one expect?
Hey, Banter. And what luck did you have in the lists of Venus, as Frank Harris would put it?
The way he put it is good enough for me. I found a woman, actually, yeah.
No.
Student teacher, here in Cambridge, as luck would have it. She was here all last term, and you beat it. I didn't find out till the very last day.
Well, you know now.
I know now. Yeah. Ulysses has forever lost its mystery.
No. Great.
Not before it's time. Hi, Don. Don, are we going to the Ludwig Wittgenstein Song Club or aren't we? No blasphemy intended. Don. Don?
What's going on?
You okay?
What time is it?
What happened?
I must have fallen asleep. I was in there and, I started to come in here. I felt a bit queer and, I don't know. I'm all right now.
Sure?
Yes.
I mean, you're not ill or anything.
If we're going to this meeting, we'd better brace.
Better brace. I never thought I'd hear that expression again. Well, you're really okay then, aren't you?
Yes, fine. I was tired, that's all.
I didn't think anything of it at first, and then a week later, he passed out while I was actually in the room. I suppose you could say he just fell asleep, but it was pretty abrupt if he did. Pretty deep sleep, too.
We'll get him to go to a doctor.
He won't.
He hadn't been boozing or something,
No.
had he?
It's just the way it happened. I really think he's sick.
Well, perhaps you should write to his mother about it.
She's very superior. She'll probably resent it.
Then mind your own business for a change. Well, he isn't going to die.
Yep. I sometimes wonder whether curried blanket necessarily represents the full sort of flower of Indian cuisine.
One day we'll go and find out.
What are you doing tomorrow?
and have days and days all to ourselves.
Nuts and nice.
And those.
God, I'm lucky.
God, you are.
And so are you.
Why? I love you.
Oh. You're off then, are you?
How did you guess?
Hello, Donald.
No. You wrote to my mother.
Yes, I was worried about you. When will you be back?
Monday.
Oh, well, let's all go to the pictures. Let's go and see the bad and the beautiful and the good and the ugly and things like that.
Fine.
And I'll try and get that girl from Pop Priors for you again, shall I?
Helga? Will you really? Cheerio.
Cheerio. Oh. Poor Donald, you know, he's never even had a kiss. Huh? Wait.
Dear Mr. Morris, Donald will not be coming back to Cambridge this term. The doctors want to perform various tests on him, and it's easier if he stays at home. Donald is very disappointed, and I am writing to ask whether you would care to come and visit us in the country during the Easter vacation. I know that Donald would be very glad if you would. Yours sincerely, Francis Davidson.
Lady.
Did you tell Helga?
Tell her? Oh, yes. Yes, I did, yes. And she sends you her love.
Really?
She'll see you next term.
I thought a lot about Helga. She's rather an unusual girl.
Been in the family long?
Well, longer than I have. We've got a private chapel. I always hid out there when I was small and Nanny Hedges was in a bait.
With a direct line to God, no doubt.
Oh, we had our own private priest as well.
What happened to him?
We've still got him, actually. My uncle. He's coming over tonight. I told him an enemy of the church was coming to stay. He couldn't wait.
Well, at least we have a decent government. I never really thought that Winston was safe, but at least he's English.
I always thought that Mr. Aptley was English. What was he if he wasn't, Lady Frances?
The last government was the greatest tragedy in our English history, apart from Henry VIII. Detestable fellow.
Well, at least it enabled me to make a few bob out of my mining shares. I never thought to see a penny, and then along came compensation. Salvation.
Oh, the Welsh were in the mines. There's nothing intrinsically wrong with the shares.
Come, Francis. Our father, the one who isn't in heaven, to the best of our knowledge, at least, had the worst eye for investment of any man you could ever hope to meet.
Oh, well, you obviously don't know what actually happened. Some solicitor put him into them. Probably in order to do a fellow Hebrew a good turn or something.
I think I'll go now, if you don't mind. Or even if you do.
Go?
Home.
I said something.
You know you have, Mamma.
But you said Mr. Morris was agnostic. I mean, what is my offence exactly?
I think our young friend has every right to feel indignant.
Oh, I'm not your friend, Father. You have no friendship for me, whatever.
I assure you,
While 6 million Jews were being murdered, the Roman Catholic clergy preached sermons against them from virtually every pulpit in Europe. And if the Germans had made it to England, you would have greeted them very gladly and preached exactly the same sermons here in Westminster Cathedral, whatever the place is.
I refuse to be accused of treason in my own house.
Oh, not treason. Not treason. Just murder. There is no need for indignation. Now I'll go.
Yes, I think I'll come with you.
It's too late to go anywhere. Now, I think we should change the subject.
Change the subject by all means. Now I've gone, you can talk about me.
Mr. Morris, please wait.
Is there more?
Please. If you could just spare a minute. My wife can be very foolish.
Oh, I don't think she's foolish, sir.
It's Donald, you see.
What is?
I thought she wrote to you.
She asked me to come, God knows why.
Well, to please Donald. He likes you very much. And he's going to die, you see.
Die?
Yes. That's what we're told.
But he said he was fine. It was nothing.
So, if you could see your way to coming back in and having another glass of brandy, I'd be extraordinarily grateful. Do you think you could?
He said it was nothing.
Yes. Well, it's not. Not that he knows, of course. Or should.
I had no idea.
Night, Adam. Got everything you want?
Yes, thanks. Yes, I've got everything I want. Good night. Sorry, are you okay? 40-15.
Game, set and match. Well played. Well played, you. Thank you. Well played.
It's
You all
very
right?
good, isn't he?
You sure? I better get the ball before it's in. John, something I'd like to ask you about.
Listen, let's just go off and have a...
Oh. Oh, I didn't hurt you.
You've hurt all of us.
I have. What have I done?
Well, you seduced Donald.
Seduced?
Yes, you have. You've taken him from his family, and, I hate you for it. It's all your fault, everything.
But I haven't seduced anyone.
Why do you think Uncle Kenneth is here? Because Donald is ill and he's in danger.
I know.
And it's your fault. Jew.
Here I am, in one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen. Part guest, part prisoner, part friend, part enemy. Welcome and unwelcome. Protected and exposed. I want to leave, and yet I feel obliged to stay. I hate them, and I also pity them. I would gladly see them in hell, and yet, if I could sacrifice myself to earn their good opinions, I do believe, God help me, that I'd do it. I have no place in this country, as they have one. My only place is between your legs. That's my only country, the only place I can plant my flag and feel at home.
Don't let me disturb you.
Do you think I'm wrong to stay here?
Wrong?
Should I go?
Well, how can I say what you should do?
I thought that was your office.
Hardly.
Lady Frances certainly seems to wish I wasn't here. Do you?
She envies you. You're going to live.
Isn't that always the life everlasting? Francesca certainly seems to think it's all my fault.
Does she?
Do you?
What's all your fault?
Oh, I've seduced Donald from the path of truth, and he's been given whatever he's got as a sort of punishment.
Leukemia. Does she really?
And you ever going to tell him?
Well, it's not for me to tell or not tell him.
Why not?
Forgive me, but I begin to feel that you blame me for Donald's illness, no less than his sister blames you.
I wonder why you never hesitate to tell him things which cannot be proved, things you call truth, and yet you're so hesitant about the actual truth.
What would be gained by devastating Donald prematurely with a cruel and inalterable revelation?
Prematurely? Yes, I see. Why exactly are you here?
I was invited.
But you're here to persuade him back into the fold, aren't you?
That's not a sin.
And at what point are you going to spring the news upon him and gather his soul like a ripe gooseberry?
I have no intention of behaving as you imagine.
At least not prematurely. You never hesitated to tell him all the other crippling, degrading, superstitious truths, all the castrating claptrap of the church. Why the sudden tact?
I don't think the church has anything to do with it.
Well, I think it has everything to do with it, you see. So there we are. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I must go to the post. I shouldn't have said the things I said.
Well, I preferred you angry to apologetic.
Well, there's a lot more of that if you want it.
My old pram, or what's left of it. I'll show you what we used to do. The Cresta Run. I haven't done this for years. A neighbour of ours broke his neck and Nanny locked this in the garage. Coming?
I don't want to break my neck.
Well, at least it's quick. Look, I'll make the first run, and you go down to the bottom with the watch. Okay?
Right. I'm not promising to do it after.
That's it! When I shout no, press the tit, okay? No!
Okay. Don?
What did I do? What time?
Oh, I forgot.
God.
Are you all right?
Why do you keep asking me? I'm fine. Your go.
Oh, you're skilled. I should break my neck. Where's he buried, this neighbour of yours?
Oh, he's not dead. He just had to wear a concrete necklace for the rest of his life.
Oh, fine. Off we go, then. Good heavens. I'm not really very keen, you know.
Donald, lunchtime.
It'll only take about 10 seconds.
Aha. How the hell do we do these things?
I don't know.
8 seconds. Oof. Very good. Oh, I wish these bloody pills didn't make me feel so piss awful. Oh, God.
Can you make it all right?
Yes, I should be all right.
Right. Lady Frances.
Oh, hello, Adam.
Donald's asleep. I came to tell you that I really think I ought to be going.
What?
I fancy you've had about enough of me.
Are you thinking of taking Donald with you?
No, no.
Only he wants to go back to Cambridge next term. How do you feel about that?
Feel about it, but I hope he does, obviously.
Have you got a place in town?
In London? A place? No. I live with my parents. I don't have a place.
No, entertaining, I meant.
Well, my parents are quite civilized.
I understand that you have a young lady, only we have appeared at 10 in Cadogan Square, and I was wondering whether you might like to have the use of it for a day or two.
No, thank you.
I gather Donald has a girl, too. Perhaps you could persuade him to go with you, and then you could use the flat. Helga, isn't it?
Yes. Unfortunately, my girl, as you put it, is up north with her parents. But I'd gladly take Donald off your hands for a few days. I don't have to be offered any consolations for spending time with him.
How nice of you.
He fears he's hurt you very much.
Bye.
His attitude to the church.
He's grieved me very much, but he hasn't hurt me.
And this is your way of revenging yourself?
I don't think so.
By wishing him out of your sight?
When will you be leaving, do you think?
As soon as possible. When he wakes.
What's the average price, roughly?
Hard to say. It's about £3, I think.
She's rather sumptuous, I must say. I mean, she looks so marvellously like a tart. How much do you think she'd want just to take off her clothes?
Oh, they don't like doing that.
Only 33% within the upper price bracket actually take off all their clothes without extra charge, I know. I'd just like to talk to her, really.
She's not actually in the talking business.
18% of American males have their first genital experience with prostitutes.
Gospel according to Kinsey.
It would be interesting to ask her a few questions. I mean, there's a lot of things I'd like to know. I've got £2.10.
No, she's not worth going to hell for, Don, is she?
Has Mama commissioned you to be my spiritual mentor or something?
On the contrary.
Or is it just being in love that makes you so infernally prim?
In love? Am I in love? There they go.
With Barbara?
Am I in love with Barbara? I suppose I am.
I'd rather like to stay and see how long it takes her to be back on the beat. The average customer seems to get about 8.2 minutes.
Oh, God. Stands my cock at 10 to 3, and are the hormones still for tea?
I don't follow.
Follow, follow, follow the merry, merry paps of fun. Here we are, Finland station driver.
I'll buzz and get the tea and bring it back, OK? Helga, coming?
I stay here and take the sun. I'll go and help you.
All right.
Brace you.
OK.
Don't you like him? I mean, he thinks a hell of a lot of you.
And what about you?
I think you're very beautiful. Crikey. Helga, you do me a favour. I mean, really a favour.
Depends.
Be nice to him.
I am nice to him.
There is a reason for what I'm asking.
You have no right to ask me.
Well, I wouldn't ask otherwise.
I don't follow.
Trust me. Helga, I wouldn't hurt you.
What do you want me to do?
Have you never seen the sprinting waiters of Samarkand? My dear...
You see how impossible it is to want such a man?
Oh, tea time! Promise you I'm okay. Tripped. I'm okay.
Shouldn't we at least call the doc?
I'm not going home.
I know I'm suggesting that.
I couldn't see Helga if I went home. You know this Italian trip you were talking about, you and Barbie?
I wish you wouldn't call her Barbie. What about it?
Well, supposing I asked Helgi and we made it a foursome. It's only a suggestion, but we could take the rusty wagon.
Yes, it'd be good to have a car.
I think she'll make a hell of a good wife, don't you, Helgi?
Wife? What do you want a wife for?
I think it's the pills that make me feel so rough. Do you know, I'm a good mind to pack them in. Adam, you won't tell anybody about this afternoon, will you?
Who would I tell?
We wouldn't get in your way, and if we did come, you'd at least be mobile. I do rather reckon with seeing the Eternal City.
Warning you, be bloody hot.
Did you know that there were still officially licensed brothels in Italy? That'd be interesting.
I thought you were in love. Huh?
Purely from the point of view of statistical research.
Look, I'm not asking you actually to come. Huh? See, I'm just asking you to say that you will.
I should be honest.
I've explained as much as I can.
I don't like to deceive people.
Oh, I appreciate that. But, see, it's never going to happen. I mean, no one is going to hold you to anything. Why not let him believe that you care for him? I mean, just let him believe that we're all going to Italy. I'm doing it, why can't you?
It's not honest.
Oh, come on. Helgi. How many men have you had since you came to Cambridge? Or before, if it comes to that?
Don't be horrible, please.
No,
That's got nothing to do with it.
If you took your clothes off and got into bed with him, it wouldn't kill you, would it?
You're being horrible.
No, I'm not. Would it? I envy you. You're someone who does what she wants.
I like Barbara. Very much.
Yeah. Be nice to him, Helgi, please.
And?
No one is going to hold you to anything.
I know what you're doing. Don't think I don't.
Me?
Of course.
I promise everything will be all right. Promise.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My train was late.
Well, at least they haven't nationalised the Savoy yet.
Donald didn't know that you were coming to town.
He thinks I'm with my girlfriend.
Bring us some Indian tea, please, for two.
You have a very brave son, Lady Frances.
The attacks are getting more frequent.
And worse.
Italy's not going to be possible.
Well, I'd like to think it was, but...
You told me about your plans. They seem to have been quite detailed.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. See, the main problem is, apart from anything else, Donald is the only one of us who can drive, you see.
Supposing I gave you the money to go by aeroplane.
Oh, Lady Frances, I'm afraid that he really is too ill
I'll
to...
take the responsibility. Even if it's only for a few days.
This girl...
Helga.
Yes, Helga. Donald believes that she's in love with him. I'm afraid she really isn't. In fact, I don't even think that she'd be willing to come.
He told me quite definitely you were going à part.
Yes, you see, that is what she...
Thank you so much.
That's what she agreed to say.
Adam, why don't you talk to her and persuade her? You're very persuasive.
God knows I'll be willing to try. Lady Frances, forgive me, but aren't you carrying this a little far?
What am I carrying?
Donald should be within his own people. Things get worse. Not with me, not with
Not
people
if he's
who...
happier with you.
How can you not want him with you just because of what
Because
happened? What happened with him and the church?
Do you really think that I don't want him because of that?
Isn't it true?
I want him with me every moment of the day. Not a week, not a day passes when I don't look up the trains to Cambridge. When I don't think of bringing him home. And as for the church, I don't give a damn.
I do. And I rather wish he's rejoined.
Well, perhaps he will. I hope so, but if not...
And you're never going to tell him, not even when...
Donald's friendship with you and with this young lady have made him really happy for the first time in his life. I should never let him imagine that it was pity and not true affection that was responsible for it.
It wasn't. It wasn't. I'll stay here. I mean, I'll stay in England this summer and be with him. I don't mind.
There's nothing you could do, and it won't be very nice.
Well, perhaps we could all go to Italy. Or the three of us. I'm willing if you... See, I'd like him to come. We both would, truly.
Thank you, Ed. It's very Christian of you.
Oh,
No, my dear, it's all right. Adam, whatever happens, you're not to change your plans. If you did, he'd know.
Bloody shame about Helga's father.
Yes. Well, thanks for the message, anyway. She'll be there next term, so...
Oh, sure, yeah.
Bloody pills.
Well, let's hope they do some good in the end. Well, Father. We'll be back, you know.
Enjoy yourselves.
Who will do that?
Bring me a sliver of the true cross.
And a stick of the Rock of Ages.
Cleft specially for me.
Would we forget? Well, we'll see you when we see you.
In logic, there are no surprises.
Ah. Yes. Russ, I suppose there can always be a miracle. Three whole weeks, just you and me. Think of that. We shall have to be Mr. and Mrs. because I can't go through all that again.
Suits me.
Buongiorno, signori.
Buongiorno.
Mio marito ed io vogliamo una camera con un letto matrimoniale per 2 clienti.
Sì, signora. Firmi qui.
Davidson, on July 2nd, 1954, following an illness, Donald St. John Davidson, much loved son of Henry and Lady Frances Davidson and brother of Francesca, in his 23rd year. The funeral will take place privately at Gifford's End, and a requiem mass will be held at the Church of Our Most Holy Redeemer, St. Thomas.
Gives me the shivers.
The noise, my dear, and the people.